Misery and turbulence. That is what one investor said. One very well-known person in the business world said that here recently. We're going to talk about what that means and what he's indicating by those words. Hey everybody, my name is JJ. You're watching Bull Boom Bear Bust. It is November 17th, 2021. It's Wednesday evening. Hopefully everyone's having a good week so far. We are here midweek and we got a lot of news to cover today. Just about everything that we've been predicting here over the past few years has continued to play out. We see rising prices continuing to rise, and it's pretty simple to figure out why, because nothing's being done to reverse the situation. Is manufacturing coming back? No. Is the money printing stopping? No. Are there more restrictions being put on the banks to stop the lending and stop the endless money flow out to the people to get on more debt and to continue to pay high prices for goods and items? No. Is the shortage situation being accounted for, or is it being fixed or dealt with? No, nothing's being done to reverse the situation. So yes, expect things to continue to get worse. And we're going to try to look for investment opportunities along the way. Well, let's go ahead and get into the first article here. We're going to talk about car prices today too. It's pretty amazing what's happening. Billionaire Ray Dalio, quote, misery and turbulence ahead after inflation hits 31-year high. Now, he's not talking about himself, right? The people in the top 10%, people like Ray Dalio, the billionaires, they'll continue to get wealthier, while the bottom 90%, most of them not so much, about 70 to 75% of the people, bottom 90% are in debt. And not only are they in debt, well, a lot of them have more debt than they actually have in assets and savings, which is pretty sad picture when you think about it. Ray Dalio put out the following message on LinkedIn, quote, the United States is now spending a lot more money than it's earning and paying for it by printing money that is being devalued. He continued, quote, the country is on the wrong path. History shows that when an individual, organization, country, or empire spends more than what they earn, misery and turbulence are ahead. End of quote. So when an empire spends more than what they earn, or country or organization or individual, well, when an individual does that for too long, when they spend more than they earn, they end up in bankruptcy. Now, it's not always misery. Sometimes bankruptcy can be a break-free moment for some people, getting rid of a lot of debt. But the United States as a country, our empire, we never have to pay the piper. We could just keep on raising the debt ceiling to infinity. And of course, they're going to put the debt ceiling out there to give people something to worry about. And so the people beg the lawmakers to continue to pass the debt ceiling so they can continue funding all of the payouts that people depend on. When in reality, if they just stopped all the printing and spending and payouts, prices would collapse, and then the cost of living would be much cheaper, and therefore you wouldn't have to have so many payouts to keep up with the rising prices. You see where this is headed? So their solution to the problem is the problem, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. All right, next, Bulls and Bears, please go over to Wolf Street, great website. Used Vehicle Value Index, Manheim. Used car prices spiked again. The biggest spike we've seen yet here, the WTF moment to the far right. And this chart goes back over 15 years. Pretty amazing when you look at, but it's really not too shocking if you know what's really happening out there. Manufacturing is being obliterated, the workforce being obliterated. Very little supply out there, a lot of demand as banks continue to loan out money that actually doesn't exist. And people say, what do you mean it doesn't exist? The banks have it. How could they loan it out if they don't have it? Well, what they have is they have digits on a screen. Now remember, most money, it's less than 10% of all money out there is actual physical cash, bills and coins. Right? The fact that the bills and coins are fiat, that they can be printed out of nothing or just printed out of thin air or printed out of paper or coined without any actual backing, that's bad enough. But it's even worse than that. Less than 10% of all the money out there is in physical form. It's just digits on a screen. So why do you think the banks don't need your money? They don't need any deposits to be able to loan out money because it's not real money. It's just digits on a screen. So yes, banks can continue to loan out money for people to buy cars, money, AKA digits on a screen. So yes, the seller, the car dealer, gets the funds digitally, and then the buyer gets the loan with interest attached. Pretty good game if you're in the banking world. So yes, until that stops, until that sort of lending stops, prices are going to continue to spike until the manufacturing situation is fixed, the labor force situation until that's fixed. Prices are going to continue to spike. You may see pullbacks here and there, but we expect things to continue to get a lot worse. Look at this. Year-over-year prices spiked 38% from already sky-high levels last October, and we're supposed to believe that inflation is only at 6%. 6%. And when you look at it compared to 2 years ago, prices are up 59%. All right, how insane is this? How high can prices go? When will it catch up to the consumer? At some point, the consumer is not going to be able to handle these debt levels. Oh, that's right. They can create more money out of thin air and send out more stimulus checks. I almost forgot. Recent article over at oil price. Could an energy crunch lead to a worldwide financial crisis? Well, to a lot of people, the financial crisis is already here. There will be a portion of the population that does not feel the pain of the financial crisis, but most people are going to see it day to day just in the things that they purchase. And like Ray Dalio said, a lot of people are going to be in misery as this continues to play out. All right, another article that caught my eye out of the same site, oil price. Options traders are betting on $300 oil, $300 per barrel. So even the traders out there are seeing the writing on the wall. $300 oil. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine gas prices over triple of where they are right now? What are people going to do that have to commute, that have to take their kids to school? At some point, you're going to have to see a pullback on holiday travel and leisure travel, and people are just going to have to save up just to get to working back for those lucky enough to have a job. A recent article here out of CNBC, nearly half of all Americans expect to retire in debt, right? We've talked about this before. Most people retire and leave this world in debt. And it's finally becoming knowledge, becoming common knowledge. Nearly half of all Americans now expect to retire in debt. Right? So it's no longer just a doom and gloom scenario like many of you out there had, said that this channel was. We're just telling you the way it is. And, people like us telling you the real news get called doom and gloom. But finally, people are realizing that this is reality. Nearly half of Americans expect to retire in debt. And the sad truth is, it's going to be more than half people that are going to retire in debt. And how many people are going to put off retirement because they have so much debt, right? I personally know people that put off retirement and they say they're going to do it this year, then they push it back another year. Okay, I'm going to go another year. Things get more expensive. They get further in debt. Okay, now they're going to go another year. Now we have people, 65, 75, 80, still working. Pretty sad. Now, nothing wrong with working. Some people choose to work even though they don't have to. Some people say, it's good for you to stay active. But it depends on what kind of work you do. I can think of a lot funner things to do besides working for someone else, that's for sure. Please let me know what you think about Ray Dalio's comments. Misery and turbulence ahead. Is he right? Are the options traders predicting $300 a barrel oil? Are they right? Or is there something going to change? If there is something going to change, please let us know down in comments because maybe you know about news that we haven't heard. And what's the direction for this country for most people? What do we prepare for? Please let me know down in the comments. You know what I think about the subject. I'm going to wrap this one up right here. I'm kind of tired today. I was up pretty late last night working on some new music, putting some new songs together. So I'm going to sign out. Talk to everybody very, very soon. Hope everybody's well. Keep stacking, stay safe, stay prepared. Bye for now, everybody. Peace.